We stayed at the Hotel Casa Morisca. It was originally a home dating to the 13th or 14th century and was converted to a hotel at some point. We could see parts of the Alhambra from our window. A very short walk down the hill from the Hotel Casa Morisca led to a street along the Darro River. It wasn't much of a river, but shops and sights along the street were interesting. We were able to walk up quite a steep hill to a restaurant for dinner that provided a view of the Alhambra. The Alhambra is the most famous architectural site and probably best preserved of the medieval Muslim world. We took a taxi through the Albayzin quarter to the Alhambra to be assured that we arrived on time for our tour. Turned out to be quite an interesting ride, as you can see. The Alhambra began in 1238 as a fortress on a site of earlier defensive structures. It became a continuous building project with the construction of aqueducts and water distribution systems and palaces. Alhambra evolved into a palace city by the end of the 14th century. The Alhambra, and with it Granada, was surrendered to the forces of Ferdinand and Isabella in 1492. We started our tour by walking through the gardens. The scale of the place is impressive. The Alhambra, at its peak, included gardens, fountains, and living quarters for workers and members of the upper class, as well as magnificent palaces for the rulers. Water was a symbol of power and life. Over the centuries, an elaborate water system was built. It included aqueducts that brought water in from the mountains to the east. This turned out to be a main vulnerability that allowed the Spaniards to take the city. The original purpose for the Alhambra was a fortress, Alcazaba in Arabic. Some impressive structures remain. The most impressive features really lie inside the palaces. The architecture, decorations, fountains, and courtyards are really magnificent. I did my best to capture these, but the crowds and the need to keep up with the tour group made things difficult. Washington Irving's Tales of the Alhambra, published in 1832, brought international attention to the Alhambra and made it a tourist attraction. I took a morning walk up the hill from Casa Morisca to capture some daytime views of the Alhambra and the cuevas along the street. The street along the Darro, Carrera del Darro, leads downhill to the more modern part of Granada. The river disappears and the street becomes Reyes Católicos, a major thoroughfare. The Cathedral de Granada and the Capilla Real de Granada are nearby, and the Capilla provides the final resting place for Isabella and Ferdinand.